Welcome back to Symbiotic Vibration. Last week we spoke about denial. We spoke about denial as a protective tool, a shell, a layer, a cocoon to keep us safe, to allow us to build the strength and the courage to accept our own realities as they are. And this week we're going to move on to acceptance. We're going to look at denial as nighttime. It's protective, it's restorative, it's safe from the chaotic lives that we live during the day. And we'll look at acceptance as a soft morning light. It's not blinding. Acceptance doesn't ask us to rewrite our past, but it does ask us to face our present. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today, I am at the beautiful Guggenbarra. I hope I've pronounced that right. Behind me, he's lying down. There was a cool, what looks to be a ram, but he was a beautiful colour, and maybe you can see him lying on the hill there. But yeah, I'm going to take you on a journey of the Guggenbarra today. I met a man in a shop not far from here who has told me there is a waterfall, which is actually directly behind me. Perhaps you can hear it. And as well as that, there is some lakes at the top. So this is going to be a long day for me, and I'm very excited. So I hope you are too. Today, we're going to speak about acceptance. It's not going to be as difficult to speak about in terms of denial. Acceptance, whilst just as difficult, it is also extremely liberating. And I'm excited to speak about it. I'm excited to share some of my story in terms of having to accept the fact that I had a brain tumour post-diagnosis. And that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to get into the clarity and the freedom that comes with the ability to accept your reality as it is now, without resistance. I wanted to start this introduction not far from here in a beautiful little church that I'll probably show you right now via pictures and drone footage. But yeah, here's an incredible fact that I found out about the Guggenbarra. They are home to one of Ireland's award-winning toilets. I did not expect it. It's a beehive hut toilet, and it has an octagonal floor, just like a beehive. Is it a hectagonal? Just a little update on how it's going for me. You know, the first 2 weeks were very stressful, coming to terms with the idea of creating this series and, yeah, getting used to the operating systems, getting used to content creation, the weather, and editing, and trying to balance out my own life. But yeah, we're successful. We've made 2 episodes. Thank you all so much for watching. It's incredible, the support that has come in so early on, and yeah, it's just going to keep on coming. You know, this vision of mine, I really do feel it, and I'm so passionate about it that it can only work because energy flows where attention goes. And we will continuously say that throughout the series. But yeah, I don't want to drag this one on for an hour because the last one was a little bit too much. But just know that I'm really stepping into this role. I'm becoming comfortable and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, let's have a little bit of fun today as we speak about the profound topic of accepting your own reality. And not just accepting your reality, but importantly, accepting accountability and accepting responsibility for your own actions moving forward. We can't change the past. We don't need to. We need to integrate it. We need to learn from it. But we are responsible for our decisions from now on. And so that's what we'll be getting into today. So I'm going to go and find the next scene and go for a hike. I'll probably show you bits and bobs. But yeah, let's do it. Let's get this done. Oh boy, oh boy. It is very loud here, unfortunately. What a beautiful scene. Steps, waterfall. So we won't be doing any important takes here, but I did want to do a take here, so here I am. I'm working on improvisation right now. But yeah, whilst I venture through this wonderful, majestic area, I'd just like to wish my support to you. If you are here and you are going through something that you're finding it hard to accept, you're finding reality a little bit overwhelming, I just want you to know that I understand, and many of us do. And take your time. Be patient. We'll get through this together, okay? It's difficult to stare in the mirror and to accept what is, but I'm sure that hopefully after this episode, it might just be a little bit easier. And so, yeah, let's keep doing this. Hey guys, how are you? You having a lovely day, you beautiful beings? A ram. Clue? A ram is my star sign. So we must be on the right track. Synchronicity. Hey guy. Hey. Or girl. You have ram horns though. Hey, beautiful. Wow. What a place. What a place. Look. Wow. So expansive. It's like a big giant playground for someone who likes being outdoors. So if you ever do get the chance, definitely come to Guggenbarra. My God. My universe. I found a beautiful tree on the way. This will not be the second scene. I'm still embarking on a journey to find a beautiful place to do scene 2. But I said I would stop and take a little break and express my gratitude to the sky, to the universe, to God, to whatever we call it up there, devoid of all of our beliefs, religions, etc. I think as we stare to the sky or we feel it in our hearts, we all feel the same universal energy. We just have different names for it. And yeah, someday I hope we don't have to fight over that name, because yeah, we're all here together, But anyway, besides that, I wanted to gift you a little story of when I received my diagnosis. We will get into that later, the whole acceptance, the confronting. But yeah, there was a moment when I had found out that I was diagnosed with a brain tumour, and I walked up to the top of a mountain nearby my old folks' house, and I stared at the sky, and I said to the sky in cursive language at the top of my voice, I said, why me? I've done nothing but be good to this planet, to be good to my friends, be good to people, and now you serve me a brain tumour. And I remember distinctly saying, fuck you, karma's not real. And I got very angry at the sky. I said, why me? Why me? Why me? And that's okay. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to express your anger and your confusion, especially to God or to the universe, whatever you're talking about. But yeah, here's the thing. I stop here after a nice sweaty hike. I stare at the sky, the same sky that I once berated for gifting me with a brain tumour, and I stare at the same sky today, and I have the utmost gratitude for everything that's ever happened to me. And now I understand, and I can look and say, oh, that's why you've gifted me, albeit a horrendously painful gift. You've given me this experience, and I'm so grateful for it, and here I am now sharing it with all of you. So yeah, that's my point. Don't forget to be grateful every day. Don't forget to wake up and be grateful that you still breathe, and that you have this existence, and you have the experience of life down here in these physical bodies. Our souls get to experience life through. And yeah, that's just it. We're going to get into gratitude in a later episode for a long, long stretch. But that's all I wanted to say. I'm feeling really grateful right now for this experience and for all of you. So yeah, let's keep on moving on. Okay, well, it's not going to get much better than this, really, is it? Maybe for the whole series. What a beautiful place. What a beautiful view. If you have ever been to Ireland, or you plan on coming, or you are from Ireland, yeah, get down here. Get to Guggenbarra, West Cork. It's just expansive. It's so tranquil. Ah, beautiful. No better place really to ask ourselves, what is acceptance? In my opinion, can you hear the people shouting? Beautiful. Acceptance, it's the honest acknowledgement of what truly is. Not what we want it to be, not what we were told it would be, but what our reality truly is, to dissolve this illusion of control. It means meeting your present existence without flinching. It means staring into honesty, whether that be brutal or beautiful or all-encompassing. And yeah, we're not just accepting illness, grief, pain. Yes, that is quite vital right now in terms of this series and what I'm trying to help you through. But in general, we're trying to accept our realities as a whole. Your reality, your childhood, your past, everything that's ever happened to you. And not just our own individual realities, but we're trying to accept our collective reality, our history, our ancestry, the current state of the world, the fact that the fabrics of our own reality that has been gifted to us are dissolving in front of our very own eyes. Yeah, acceptance is a profound skill that we will be crafting over time. And I'm not trying to get extremely deep here, and I'm not going to start breaking apart the fabrics of reality in this series anyway. Maybe we will a little bit, but yeah, acceptance is an all-encompassing skill. It is not just accepting an illness or pain. It is accepting your reality in its totality, and that is extremely difficult, and that's why we're here. We're going to walk ourselves through that gently. It's a lifetime endeavor. It's not a day. You can't just accept something in a day and it changes. Remember, sorry, I clicked again. Remember, denial. It comes in waves. Well, acceptance does too, and they can flow in between each other. And we're not trying to rush anything. We're just trying to move gently through our existence and accept whatever it is that happens and deal with it in reality, in the present. Acceptance isn't a shrug of defeat. It is not defeat whatsoever. It is the first step in empowerment towards facing your own reality. And with that, it comes accepting responsibility, the consequences of your actions. Every decision that you make from here on out has a rippling effect. And for you to gain control over those decisions, to be conscious, to use your intuition, that's what we're accepting. And also with acceptance, it comes accountability. And this is the hard truth, okay? Denial, it's soft, we're trying to get through it. But with acceptance, with understanding that we are now facing something difficult and we're looking into it face on, means that we have to take accountability for our own actions. And that's what we'll be getting into in this series. It's how can we take accountability? How can we give ourselves the best chance of survival? How can we present our body and our minds with the best advice, with the best actions possible to give our soul the best chance of recovery? And yeah, that's what we're doing here. I am feeling really powerful right now. It's it's all coming out. I'm getting really used to this stuff. So we have this, okay? Let's get into it. Okay, and before I head off on my next little journey to the next scene, I just wanted to briefly explain what I feel are the stages of acceptance. We begin by resisting. And that is okay. It's so difficult to stare at yourself in the mirror. So we begin by resisting and avoiding. We avoid. And again, I spoke about this in the last episode, so you're more than welcome to go back and browse over. If you haven't seen it, definitely look in there. Avoidance, resistance, these are part of denial because we're protecting ourselves from harsh truths, and that's absolutely okay. And moving on from that, we have confrontation. And yeah, that's what we're going to get into after this episode, in the next episode, where we move from here. We now accept that reality. Now, how do we move forward? We're going to move into confrontation and integration. Integrating what's happening truly into your soul, into your existence, so that you can accept it without fear, without pain, without anger. And that's a long journey, which we'll be getting into. And after integration, we find a sense of peace, even if we're facing illness, even if we're facing grief, because once we actually face into what we're facing, there's a sense of relief, a sense of peace. And again, we'll get into that later. So really, I'd like to do the whole video here, but it's nice to change scenes. So I'm going to go and try and find something else. And it's starting to rain again, so I got to protect my equipment at all costs. But yeah, guys, girls, everyone watching, we can do this. It's not easy. Life is not easy. It was never designed to be. It's not linear. It's up and down. It swings and roundabouts. I've had a brain tumour. I've had heartache. And I still can't tell the difference between which one hurt the most. So don't think it's a competition. Even the slightest cold can be a difficult task. So, yeah, we're going to do this together. This whole series, this whole existence. We can be there for each other. And again, if you feel like commenting, gifting a reward or gratitude or a story, please do. It can only help, and it can only be a positive thing. That's becoming a reoccurring pattern. So yeah. Okay. So now I want to talk about what acceptance feels like. I'm very scared to do so here because this is quite a popular little wind chime and I see people coming, but I'll do it really quickly. To accept something. You know, you've been gaining momentum all of this time while you deal with denying what's happening to you. And you're building up all of this energy until at some point the dam bursts. The emotions that you've been repressing, that you've been suppressing, they're all starting to flow now. That is what acceptance feels like. The sweet relief of allowing yourself to feel everything that you've been denying. It is overwhelming. It's not something that you can just turn on and turn off. Once it opens, it will stay open for some time, and you're going to be dealing with your emotions face on, whether those be beautiful, positive, or profoundly difficult emotions. The noise shifts, the tension dissolves, your body relaxes. It is finally tranquil and peaceful within your existence. And don't be afraid of that stillness, because in that stillness you'll find honesty. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for raw authenticity, raw honesty. And that's what you're going to find when you first start to accept. This isn't defeat, and it's not giving up. You're now stepping into your presence, sober-eyed and ready to meet it face on. So well done. And so to finish up, acceptance, it comes in waves, just as denial. And your job, your role, is to meet those waves without resistance, to observe them, and to be honest with yourself throughout. Now, there's people all around this place, so I'm going to have to get out of here. But I hope you enjoyed the wind chime. It's absolutely fantastic, and I really would visit here if I could, and I was you. So I'm going to go find a place now, and I'm going to give you a little briefing on what it felt like for me to deal with accepting my truth at the time of having something inside of my brain that I had been feeling for a while. That story is beautiful, and I'm excited to share it with you, and I'm going to go find a place to do that now. So yeah, there's people. Okay, so here we are on a bench next to a waterfall. I hope that the water is not too loud, but look, we're going to go with it. The last take at the wind chime was a little bit rushed and chaotic, so I do apologize for that if it comes across so. I was nervous with the idea of a swarm of people coming towards me like zombies, and I believe that shows. And I was going to redo it, and I said, you know what? We're speaking about honesty and authenticity, so there you go. That's me in a nutshell, out in the nature when people are around me. I get nervous. I'm human. And here I am on a nice tranquil bench. I'm going to now give you a little insight into what it was like to swiftly move from denial to acceptance. I say swiftly, I mean gently. But it will be a swift enough explanation because I don't want this video to be too long. So, last week we spoke about how I denied my symptoms, the coping mechanisms that I used, the behavioral patterns that arose, and yeah, well and truly that went on for 6 months in Canada. I would use various coping mechanisms, like I said, mind-altering chemicals, nicotine, caffeine, etc., phones, fun, anything I could use to distract myself. And that went on for 5 or 6 months until I began to burn out. I began to exhaust. I was working as a stonemason somehow at the time, trying to make enough money to make ends meet and to try and figure out what was wrong with me. And that was also exhausting on the body. There was no time to heal. It was all go, 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 because I didn't want to think. And eventually, I would actually get the shingles. And I don't know if you've ever experienced the shingles, but it's painful and depressing. It's it's like a rash, but it works in your nervous system also. So it displays as a rash all around the body, but it also attacks the nervous system underneath the rash. So you can't scratch the itch. It's shocking you from the inside. And yeah, it was horrendous to go through. And, you know, on top of everything I was going through at the time, that was really the final nail in the coffin for me. And so, yeah, I had spent 6 months in total and utter fear and pain and confusion. And like I said last week, it was comfortable. It was soothing to be in there because I didn't have to face reality. That's what we're speaking about today. And so eventually I would have gone to hospitals. We'll get to that in the next episode, or sorry, 2 episodes time. But yeah, I would have gone to A&E over in Canada a couple of times and basically been told to go away, that there was nothing wrong with me, etc. I'm sure you've all been there. It's not nice, and we will get into it in the future. But eventually I ran out of ideas and I ran out of energy, and my coping mechanisms, everything I was doing, the behavioral patterns, they no longer worked. If I used alcohol or cigarettes or coffee, it would just accelerate the panic, the sheer panic of what has taken me over now, how my reality feels. And eventually, I can actually tell you a beautiful story because I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting on a bus with my friend, a close friend of mine. If you're watching, I love you so much. You saved my life as well as many others. And, you know, I sat on a bus with my friend and I looked him in the eyes. I said, man, I have to go home. I really do. This isn't right. And a lot of my friends were trying to tell me that, you know, I had maybe it was a panic disorder, because I think they didn't want to face into it either. And I don't judge them. I don't hold any resentment. I probably would have said the same thing. But yeah, that one friend on that bus looked me in the eyes and he said, I think you're right. I think you need to go home. And so that's what I did. I called my parents. I asked them for money. And thankfully they paid for a flight. And I went home. But here's the thing. Do you remember last episode I said that the tumour expanded on the long haul flight to Canada like a Coke can? Well, it expanded again on the way back from Canada, and it would bring about treacherous symptoms, much worse. I didn't think it could get much worse, but it did, and we will get to that very shortly, because I did again relapse into denial. And it's a beautiful journey to express, and I'm really enjoying this. So yeah, I'm going to move on out of Guggenbarra, I think, and get to somewhere else to finish up this episode. But look, the reason I'm telling you my story is just to make it normal for you. It's okay to find it difficult to face reality, especially if it's pain, if it's grief, whatever it is. So that's what we're doing here in this episode. We're learning how to accept. We're learning how to look inwards. It's not linear. It's not like, it is like denial. It's not linear. It comes in waves. Sometimes you're able to accept it and sometimes you're not. And that's absolutely okay. So yeah, let's keep on trucking on. This has been a really beautiful journey for me. And I think this episode is being displayed in a much more confident manner. I'm so happy about this. You know, I was not too nervous, but I was so nervous over the first couple of episodes, and I think it shows. And I really want it to be what I saw in my mind, and I think it's starting to become that now. And honestly, all of you watching and the support that I've received so far, it has given me the confidence to express myself with pure honesty now, and I'm just so grateful. So yeah, I'm going to stop now because we're probably going to reach the hour mark again. So right, let's go to the next place. Almost clicked there. I've come back to Clonmel today, my old breeding ground. And at this very location is where I screamed to the sky, like I told you earlier in the episode, so I felt it would be fitting to come back here to finish it. Yesterday was quite fiery for me. I was in a very primal hunting energy. I was trying to find locations to capture content. I was really excited. There's a fly. I was really excited, and yeah, I'm sure that is mirrored within the video itself. But today I've slept on it and I feel so soft and gentle today because I'm quite emotional. You know, I have to deal with all of this while capturing all of the content. It's interesting, but I told you in the beginning that I would be authentic, so here I am. And I said I'd come to an emotional place for me. I've spent so many hours here breathing and crying and trying to understand what it was that was going on with me, and still to this day I sometimes come up here and just think, because it's chaos in the town just below, but up here it's tranquil. The energy is balanced. You're surrounded by nature. There's no frequency other than nice low balancing tones, and that reflects in here, which makes it easier to exist, which makes it easier to think. And I just want to give you a little bit of motivation before we move on with this episode. I want to look you straight in the eyes right now, you, the viewer. You know, if you're struggling, if you're going through something horrendous, whether that be a tumor or cancer or grief or whatever it may be, that I see you. The world is a tough place to exist. Pain, it is inevitable that it will happen, and it's not easy to suffer. It's hard. It's so hard. It's so difficult. But I've been there, and I see you, and I hope that I can stand here as a beacon of hope for you, that someday you can find harmony in there again, and you can have your peaceful days once more, and you can look back on this journey with utter gratitude like I do, and spend the rest of your life accepting that every day is just a bonus. We're only at the beginning of this series. We've just gone through denial, now we're going through acceptance. Acceptance is difficult. It's hard to accept your reality when something like this comes up. But I promise you, we're only just getting started. We have so much more to cover within this series. Acceptance, yes, it's so difficult, but it's so liberating, and we'll get into that soon. But what comes next after acceptance is almost 30 episodes of how we will deal with this going forward. And I promise you this, I don't have your answers, I really don't. But I do have my experience, and I do have research. And I promise you that we will make this as easy as possible and as information filled as possible to give you the best possible chance of achieving some form of harmony inside. And if it means you have to face mortality and it is your time, that's terrifying, and we will deal with that in a whole episode later on. But I promise you this, by the end of this series, you will have an intimate understanding of who you are and what you are. And I hope to be able to help you to understand that there's a great chance that this isn't the only life you live. And we support you here. Even if you don't feel it, you are loved. You're loved by me. You're loved by every single member of this beautiful family. You are loved by the universe. And you're beautiful. And you're powerful. And you're strong. And you're able to deal with this stuff. Okay? You are able to look in. Sometimes you won't be, but I promise you that you're able to look in there. And you're able to feel it all. And that's what we're aiming to do here. We're aiming to feel everything. We're aiming to release. We're aiming to balance. Whew. I'm getting all emotional now. I promised myself I wouldn't cry on camera during this series, but I'm sure it might happen at some point. So, that's it. I'm going to take a little pause now and have a breath myself, and then we can get on with the rest of the series. I love you. Stay strong. Let's go. And just to lighten the situation, I'm going to reenact what would have happened. I'm not going to scream. I'll do it in a lower voice, but this is exactly where I came on many occasions. But to add further context to the story I spoke about in terms of gratefulness and gratitude earlier, I came up here when I received my diagnosis, and right here I put my arms out and I screamed, "Fuck! Fuck!" as loud as I could, and I said, "Fuck you!" And it went on and on and on, and I cried and I punched the ground and I expressed my anger towards the sky. Oh, yeah, I still feel it, it's, those feelings never go away. You are every single version of you that has ever existed here. And you are every future version of you that will ever exist, and you feel them all, and you can connect to them all. And yeah, I'm so deeply connected to that version of myself that was up here almost 10 years ago now. And again, I stand here, I kneel here in the exact same spot 10 years on, and I'm just, I don't know what I am, to be honest. It's just amazing to be able to come here and still exist and be there for that version of myself and give him a pat on the back and say, "We have you, buddy, we have you." And that's all I wanted to say. Okay, so I moved ever so slightly to a flatter part of the mountain. It's very expansive here. There's stillness. I can hear the sound of a chaotic town behind me, but it's nice to be above it. And here I'd like to speak about coming to terms with reality. This is one of the most difficult parts of this journey that you now find yourself on. That could be receiving a diagnosis. It could be going through a loss. It could be facing mortality. It could be facing sexuality and a myriad of other reasons why you now find yourself trying to accept something that has come along for you. And the easiest way for me to explain would be to tell you how it felt for me, because it was so difficult. And you remember at the end of the last story about myself that I told you, where I was getting home off the plane and it would get a lot worse. So as I touched down off the plane, again I was inebriated. I had drank quite some amount of wine on the way home, because honestly I could not deal with what was to come, because I knew that if I had been in pain for 6 months, that this was not stopping, and I needed to come to terms with that. So I couldn't. On the way home I was alone on a long haul flight with all of these emotions coming up, so I decided to drink them away. And I landed, and immediately once I started to sober up, I realised, okay, it's worse. So alongside all of the numbness, the tingling, the pain that I had around my body, now I was experiencing pain at the very base of my skull, where my brainstem lies. I was feeling a swell internally in my head, and I knew immediately that this was not jet lag and something else has come along. And to be honest, from that moment onwards in the car on the way home with my father, I knew that there was something in my head, but I wasn't able to deal with that. So I had a relapse into denial. And this is what I was telling you about the waves. I couldn't deal with it. So I just put my head down and pretended like everything was okay. But we had to deal with it. So I had a family at this point. I had a support network, and yeah, everybody was in denial. Every one of us. So yeah, we all manically started searching for people to help. I went to a spinologist because everybody was convinced, that it can't be anything else other than your back, so we'll get that dealt with. So I went and I saw a spinologist. No fix. Okay, let's go to a GP and see what he can do. Pain medication, I don't want it. No fix. And so this only went on for a short period of time, maybe 2 weeks. I recall not sleeping. I recall my mother coming home from work at lunchtime, and I recall pretending to be asleep in bed while she walked into my room because I couldn't deal with anybody. I couldn't deal with myself. I couldn't deal with anything. All I could do was bury my head under the sand. And yeah, all of this energy that I was trapping was really reaching an ultimatum, and it was about to explode into a manic breakdown at that point. And yeah, eventually I would see an optician, and what a beautiful man. He basically saved my life also, because I went to get my eyes checked and he saw something behind my eyes. Now, he didn't tell me. He couldn't allow me to fear that much, but he did tell my father. And my father was advised to bring me for an MRI of my brain. And it was at that point that I was having to come to terms with reality. I went for food with my friend a couple of days before my MRI, and I almost fell walking across the street, and I couldn't even hear him speak while we were eating food. All I could think about was the fact that I had something in my brain. And I knew I did. And here it is. Okay. I couldn't hide anymore. I wasn't able to. Not to myself, not to anybody else. And I needed a sweet sense of relief. I lusted for the idea of actually knowing what was wrong with me, rather than freaking out about something that could have been wrong with me. And there it was. We went for an MRI, and I was told at the time that it could be multiple things that are going wrong with you, and a brain cyst was at the top of the list to be the most survivable. And I remember the day when the results came in. I sat at the top of my stairs. I waited for my mother to come home from lunch, and my father was there, and my mum came in, and she told me that I had a cyst on my brain. And I celebrated. I literally fist pumped. Firstly, because all of the feelings that I had had for the last 6 months were validated. I wasn't going crazy. I didn't have psychosymptomatic symptoms. I didn't need anti-anxiety medication. There's something actually wrong with me. My gut, my intuition understood. We'll get to that later too. Intuition, gut, like the body check-ins in the last episode. Understanding what's going on in here so that you can listen to the signs. But there it was. Reality. Now I know. Now I know. Now here's the thing. It wasn't a brain cyst. It was a brain tumour, and it was a lot worse than I was advised at the beginning. And we will get into that in the next episode and the next episode. But I felt a sweet sense of relief. I felt every single piece of trapped and repressed emotion that I had been pushing down and burying all come out of me. It was scintillating to truly just be able to accept, okay, this is happening. This is happening. I can't change that. And I guess, I was in my early 20s, so I felt fearless. And it was just an immediate, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to figure out how to get through this. And I suppose I'll stop here, because the next episode is research and understanding. And I'll finish up by speaking another little bit. But I'm sure this episode is long enough. And honestly, I hope that me sharing this story is helping you and giving you hope, because it gets so much more in-depth and painful and fearful and beautiful, and yeah, just know that I'm still here, and I went through all of that for you, so that you can believe that you can get through your situation too. Okay? So, okay, so let's finish up. Okay, I have changed scene. I've come back to the water to finish this episode. I hope that it has been insightful, and that, however painful, you have enjoyed watching this episode and it has helped you in some way, shape or form. It certainly has helped me. Acceptance is not easy. Denial is not easy. We have to be patient with ourselves, okay? They come in waves. Some days are easy, some days you'll accept, some days you'll push, and some days you will use denial again. But eventually, you will be able to see it all from an honest place, I promise you. And we're only getting started here. Now we get to move onwards to dealing with the situation. We get to learn how to make conscious decisions that will have positive rippling effects on the coordination and balance within your soul, within your mind, within your heart. And I'm hoping that I can draw from my own experience and research, and these insights may help to guide you. I don't have your answers. I'm not going to tell you I can cure you or I can fix what it is that's going on for you, but I can sure tell you that I'll be here every step of the way. And I have a long series ahead filled with beautiful insights and experiences and research that should help you to find some form of balance within as you try to help yourself through this dark situation. So yeah, I don't want this to be another hour-long episode. It probably is already, but I'll end it with this. Acceptance isn't the end. It's just another chapter, and we're only about to start writing the pages. So stick with it. Give yourself some time. Be patient. Be compassionate. Ride the waves. And I love you. And so does everybody else here at Symbiotic Vibration. Stay strong. Stay powerful. Stay observant. Stay mindful. We're only just beginning. I'll see you soon. Oh.